All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rooster AM. It's Ryan Nelson. Today I'm here with Kinsley Jordan, and this is going to be a really fun show today, I have a feeling. My goal today isn't to get too political. Like, we can ask some political questions, and I do have some questions people have asked. But really, when you go into the booth to vote for somebody, you want to know who the man is or the woman. You want to know who they are as a human being, not just what you see on the ads and what you've heard from people, because I can tell you with any level of success in your life will come criticism. And most of the time, I would say 90% of it's false, unless it's about me. And then 90% of it's probably true and 10% is false. But for the sake of Kinsley, it's probably 90% false. But I have him here today. You're going to get to know him. And I'll be real, I've got to spend some time with him. And this is how I would describe him. If I had a daughter, which I don't, he would be the kind of guy that I'd want to marry her. He's that kind of guy, just genuinely a good dude, very open and honest, share with me that most people wouldn't share in a first conversation, but that's how transparent he is. So here he is, Kinsley. How you doing?
Yeah, incredible. And I gotta say, long time listener, first time. What is that? First time caller, long time listener. Well, it's on the radio. I don't know. It was something a long time ago. They were like, long time fan, first time caller. Maybe that's it. But I got to tell you, I followed you for a long time on social media. We hadn't met until First Friday, personally. But I followed you because, man, I got to tell you, I don't think people realize how much it takes to put yourself out there as something like as an artist, as you've done, and putting yourself out there and saying, hey, this is my creation. This is my music. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. Man, that is so incredibly hard. So I've actually been a fan of you and what you've been doing because I realize you recognize that in other people of saying what he's doing is really hard because there's a lot of critics and there's people, there's a lot of critics, but anyway, just to start off, I say, what you've been doing is incredible.
It's way easier to trash people from behind a keyboard or in a waiting room next to somebody than it is to actually go out and do it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I admire the most about you. And
it's incredible. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So I'm going to jump right into it. We're not going to talk about politics right off the bat. I got a couple questions.
That is great.
We'll get to it. I know that you are a political. No, I'm kidding. I know you're actually opposite. There's not a lot of politics, a lot of planning, good resume, but he's not your regular politician. What was life growing up for you, man?
So it was awesome. I grew up in a small farm town called Little River, Kansas, on a farm. Actually, my brother and I still have it. We had it for 149 years. Sixth generation. My kids are going to be seventh generation farmers, farm hands, farm owners, however you want to say it. But we lived there. My dad had taken over the farm from his parents, and I always saw the F4s and B1s flying over. And then, you watch Top Gun when you're a young kid, which when I watched it when I was young, I was excited about the planes. Then when you watch it earlier, you're like, maybe this wasn't a kid's movie at all. maybe I shouldn't have been watching it that young, but I was just, man, I was in love with the idea of flying. And a farm boy wanted to become a fly boy. And I had the desire to do it, but through great mentors in my school and school counselors saying, hey, if you're serious about this, you got to work hard. You got to get after it. So was able to go to the Air Force Academy after going to prep school for a year, to be able to do that. And it came to Enid to be a student pilot at Vance Air Force Base. So graduated from the Air Force Academy in 2008. And people have heard me say it before, but I just can't overemphasize it. Like, the reason why I love Enid is because it's given me everything. It's given me my life. It's allowed me to meet my beautiful bride of almost 15 years next year, 3 incredible children, friends and family that just you couldn't ask for a better community and better friends and family, an amazing church and an incredible career. And Enid has always been this place for me that it's the safe place to go to and the safe place to be from, because no matter what happens in your life, no matter where you go, and there was a lot of deployments as a pilot, as an ISR pilot in the Air Force. There's a lot of deployments and being gone, but I always had that peace of mind that my family's taken care of here in Enid. And I think that's why you see a lot of military people end up staying here. So
they come back a lot.
Yeah, they come back a lot. But there's had the chance to come here and not only be a student pilot, go on to be an instructor pilot, and eventually work in the Pentagon as a strategist for the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Which those are all just like highlights. There's so much life that happens in between there, but the thing I love the most is I love what this country is about. We've had our hiccups, we've had our challenges for sure, but there's a reason why people call it the American dream. There's a reason why people love Oklahoma and why we have the Oklahoma standard. As we've talked about, even with the tornadoes of the tornado a couple weeks ago, of you saw family and friends come together and get homes and personal items and everything cleaned up within weeks. Within weeks. You try to describe that to somebody from the East Coast or West Coast, they're like, what are you talking about?
They're like, where's the government? Where's the government? Here you're like, we don't need the government. We got the people.
Yeah, we got the people. So it's been an incredible journey. I loved growing up on the farm. I think this is one of the reasons, as we were listening to your new song, which we're going to talk about. It's one of the reasons why you connect so well with your music is, as I'm listening to 63 Chevy, I'm literally thinking back to driving the dirt roads on the F2, 88 or maybe it's 88 or 87 F250 of my dad's, with the windows down and the bench seat, and you're like, no, this was life. It was real.
There was a time that was you would make. They were memory machines. Yeah. Now it's your phone, but it used to be your car.
It's so true. And the friends that you had and just the shenanigans you got into.
We can't. You're running for a political. We can't get too much in your shenanigans. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. If we're wanting you to win, we can't. Right. We can't. Just,
right. I mean, the truth is, everybody's got shenanigans. Like, if you say you don't have shenanigans in your life, come on, man. Yeah, that's not true.
You need to run to church. That's what you think. So, and that's the thing too. We got in common. We've both been pastors. I've been known as a shotgun pastor. Yeah. You're more of a
really?
Like,
what's a shot? I've not heard that. What's a shotgun pastor?
He'll just kill them all, let God sort them out, kind of thing. Like just like, you do it my way or no way, and hopefully it works out, because if not, it's going to be my fault. And
that's hilarious.
Yeah. But that's why no churches keep me too long. But it's okay. But you were talking with the Air Force, and here's a question. This might be a little political, but I'm not meaning it to be.
Yeah, fine.
Like, you are like an Air Force major. Mm-hmm. You're like a true patriot, true American. I know that because I was in the military. It's different being a civilian. Playing Call of Duty and being Call of Duty are two different things. And how do you blend your faith in Christ with the allegiance with his kingdom to the love of America? Like, without crossing.
Well, so this is, some people might not like it, but there is crossing, because that's the nation that we were. That's the nation of who we are. People, I won't jump into the whole separation of church and state thing, where people believe that we have been, I think a lot of times we've forgotten that our founding fathers, their faith was not in their ability to create a country. Their faith was in the ability of a sovereign God to be able to protect them and create a land where each man and woman was created equal. Like, that's who we are as a nation. Now, people have their opinion, they have their narrative, they have their rhetoric, but if you go back to the stories of the founding fathers and the stories of what their personal letters were to their family and to their fellow congressmen and to generals of the army, as they were figuring out, how do we defend this land that we have come to against a country that has turned against us and is basically treating us like we are secondhand citizens, which was England, is what England was doing to. Faith is woven in every aspect of what that is, in the Declaration of Independence, in the Constitution, in the Bill of Rights. And the truth is, like, for me, I don't see it any different. Like,
they flipped it. People have flipped it today. Like, separation of church and state. It used to be this. We don't want the government getting involved with the church. Now they're like, no, it means we don't want the church involved with the government. And I'm like, no, it was the other way around. Like, they assumed you would be a part of the church. Right. That was an assumption. Right. It wasn't like, and so their assumption was, we're all Christians. We don't want the government to affect our Christianity. Yeah. Like, and now we've done it different. We don't want Christianity affecting the government. They've taken a definition and redefined it. Right.
There's, I love it in 1787, Benjamin Franklin made this statement, this 1787 being several years after 1776, we won our independence. Right. So he was, said this at the Continental Convention of saying, I've lived enough life, and I have seen the proof that the affairs of God are in the workings of the hands of man. That if ever we should believe that God is not involved in the actions that we take as a nation, then we will fail to be a sovereign empire that we can be. And I believe that, man. We have to get, for me, and I have no shame in saying this, we've got to get back to having faith in the one who has set us free, period. The decisions that I make, my faith in the military, we didn't even talk about this, but COVID was a really hard time. And it was a hard time, and that was a time in my life where I had a choice. I disagreed what was being told to us, and we were being given an order for vaccine. This isn't about whether you got the vaccine or not.
It doesn't matter now. Have you seen what they've done with Fauci? They know now.
I know.
Everything they said was a conspiracy theory was truth. But all right, go ahead.
As a pilot in the Air Force, there's real health concerns that you have because you have to have a top level of fitness. You have to have a top level of health. You get EKGs, check your heart and everything, because if you're in a multi-million-dollar jet, you need to make sure the person's healthy. So there was a significant amount of us pilots that had concerns. Hey, what's the efficacy of this shot? How do you know I'm not going to have a reaction? How do you know that this isn't going to cause something for me that's going to end in my flying career? And when you have that as a consideration, it's not just in my flying career with the military. It's, if you have a medical reaction, maybe you're not going to be able to go to the airlines. And that's a significant, that you are getting.
That's your livelihood.
It is your livelihood. And pack that on top of the fact that there's no ability to go back after the company because it's emergency use. So they can't be held liable for it. So long story short, COVID for me was one of the most difficult times because I had a choice. As I was said, you have 7 days to get the shot or not. And for me, I didn't see it as just a choice for my family because I was working at the Pentagon at the time. I saw it as a choice in your life where you're faced with that you will forever remember what you chose to stand for when it was not popular. And I did. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't. In good conscience, I can't do that. I cannot take the shot. I don't think it's a lawful order. I don't feel like there's been enough evidence provided. And there's about 8,000 other pilots in the military that also have the same concern. And we'll just say I'm very thankful for what Secretary Hegseth has done to rectify those wrongs for the military. There definitely was an impact, and there absolutely was retribution for it. And I suffered that, a lot of us suffered that. But the truth is, America is worth fighting for. The rights that we have in our Bill of Rights, the rights that we have in our Constitution, the guiding principle of how, and this all comes back to God because He gives you the confidence and the faith to stand for people that you may never meet, to be able to defend the rights that they may not understand. But that's what we do. That's in the lack of leadership, lead. That's what we do. Yeah. And frankly, that's why I'm excited to run for this position. Honestly, I'm a pilot and a pastor and a dad and a coach that isn't that great at baseball, but I try to teach kids about it. I'm not a politician, but I've been very convicted that if not me, then who? And if not when, it must be now.
Yeah, you answered my next question.
Yeah,
that was fine.
If not now, then when? I guess.
Yeah,
it's got to be now. I have to take a stand.
Outside of the politics. Mm-hmm. Is there something that people will be surprised to learn about you?
Oh, surprised to learn about me. Surprised to learn about me. I love people. Okay. So
that's not surprising. That was a caked answer.
Surprised. Surprised to learn about me. I wear a lot of different hats. In fact, a lot of my friends are like, I'm sorry, what are you doing now? What are you up to? So I have an aerospace consulting company that advises on emerging technology in aerospace that works. We have clients in Tulsa and Oklahoma City and around. My wife and I have a real estate company that we do Airbnbs with. I'm a worship pastor at World Harvest Church. Sit on a couple of advisory boards of coach pitch. There's just there are several different aspects of my life that oftentimes people don't realize intersect, but it all comes down to, for me, how can you show the joy of the Lord in everything you do? For me, that's what it really comes down to, honestly. And I love life. I love life. And I guess the thing that people may not realize about me is, if whether I win or whether I lose, I have joy on June 17th either way, because my job was to run and to show people what leadership can be, and show the love of the Lord every door I go to. And that's it, man. There's no losing for me. Right. Yeah. there's only joy. Joy comes in the morning, man. And on the June 17th, I'm going to be just as happy whether I get to represent the people of Enid, or whether I get to continue being a great dad and pastor and husband and pilot. I will be joyful either way. So
that's great.
I don't know if that's shocking to people or not.
No, not at all. This is shocking. This is the shocking part of that whole monologue just now, is that you said, I have joy in life. Then why in the world would you get in politics?
Yeah. Well, no. I'll answer it is there's a lot of darkness. There's a lot of darkness, and there's a lot of agendas, and there's a lot of selfishness. And I'm not afraid to, I go back to one of my favorite verses where it says, "Whom shall I send? Lord, send me." When you have that confidence and you have that peace, I was also a youth pastor for a long time. And sometimes when you're in a leadership role, people look at you and they're like, I want what you have. What is it? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you other than it's a relationship with Christ. It's the joy of the Lord. And until you know that for real, it's hard to, it's hard to be able to describe to people. So you just have to lead in a way that they can follow you. You know what I mean? That they can look at you and see the steps and that you take and do what you do. But I believe that's exactly why we need people who are not politicians.
Well, you're doing a good job of discipling. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times people look at discipleship and they think it's a book, do these things, pray this, do that, get on your knees. It's actually showing someone another way. Yeah. And that's what you're doing. You're showing people another way of how to lead. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be dark. Yeah. It doesn't have to be trashing your opponent. Yeah. It doesn't have to be starting rumors, man, because trust me, that'll happen. You've already experienced it.
I'm not gonna say what I've already.
Have to get into
I've already experienced it already. Yeah. Some of the rumors. Oh man, the things that have been said and spread, it just makes me laugh because they're like so far from true. But you know what? Adversaries are going to do what they can. Just
wait till you win. It's fine. Because when you start to win in life, that's when they really get mad and they really come at you. So, what's your favorite in Enid? Oh man, I'm going to be giving someone a plug here.
Oh yeah,
and I'm not meaning to. What is your hidden spot favorite restaurant?
Dude, there's so many. It depends on what we're in a mood for. If we're looking for a good staple, love a Brahms burger, but also love Boomerangs burgers as well. Also love Lotta Burger. I'm so sad. Is Lennox still open? Is Lennox Burger? It was over on. I think it was on Grand. Lennox was one of my favorite. It was so. They had this barbecue Western burger. Oh man, it was so incredibly good. My kids love Tokyo. The answer every day for them is hibachi Tokyo, no matter what it is. Sometimes I almost want to ask them if they could ever get tired of it and try to take them there 6 days in a row. Unfortunately, I think I'd lose.
Kid's the same way. He loves Jade Garden and Tokyo.
Yeah. There's so many. There's just so many incredible.
Have you eaten Mazen's?
Oh my gosh. So incredibly good.
Yeah. I walked out of there going, this might be one of the best places Enid's ever had.
It took me back to one time we were when you deploy, sometimes your job is to take an aircraft over to the combat zone. Mm-hmm. So we were taking an aircraft. We're taking an aircraft over to Afghanistan during the time, to Afghanistan. And we broke in Suda Bay. And that was my first real exposure to Mediterranean food as a whole, and I got addicted to it, man. So going to Mazen's was a flashback of just deliciousness, and the baklava. Oh my gosh!
Oh, I know it was all good. And do you see what they're doing next?
No,
they're doing a Mediterranean dessert bar next door to it. Oh my gosh! And they're using legit organic real fruit.
No.
It's not processed. It's going to be incredible. It's probably going to be expensive because I don't know how you can make that stuff cheap, but it's going to be amazing.
I'll tell you what, man. When you're serving up memories, there's not a price.
There's no price.
There's no price.
That's true.
I don't know if that's a great plug. I don't know. That's true. That's incredible. Yeah, I loved it. It definitely took me down memory lane. Now my wife wasn't happy about that because when the plane broke when we were there. So we were there for like 3 weeks waiting on parts and everything to come in. I think she thought that I had we had quote unquote broken intentionally to be in Suda Bay for 3 weeks. And I was like, honey, I swear, we don't have control of this. Yeah, she's home with the kids, the young kids. She's like, sure, you don't enjoy Goose, but
see, it's like coffee. Like there's this, like coffee brings back memory to me. Like there's two places I like, and I'm brain farting on one for some reason. Downtown,
Here in town?
yeah, downtown. It's in the what is it? The Triangle Building down there, Cafe Villar.
Oh yeah.
They have some amazing coffee.
Yes.
And then if I want just like something black, something quick, Waymaker coffee is pretty good.
Yeah.
I like Waymaker.
Yeah. I did too.
Those are because I know you got jacked up on coffee this morning.
I did, man. It was like the jitters. It was almost too much. Well, kind of like I said to you, about the time I start drinking coffee is when you need it, and then you keep on drinking it because you're like, okay, man, like I want that hit, got to keep going, and then you have too much of it.
Yeah,
definitely got there.
So, what was it that when you were like sitting at home one day, and I'm assuming you probably got a lot of signs, certainly from our Lord, saying you need to run, you need to run, you need to run. Yeah. But what was the nail in the coffin when you're like, okay, this is it, I need to run?
So a lot of people have had that question because they're like, why did you throw your hat in the ring 2 months before the race? Why? That's like very last minute for you to throw your hat. Well, I've done a lot of stupid things in my life. And most of the time when Kinsley does something for the sake of Kinsley thinks is a good idea, it doesn't work out. And I've learned, unless the Lord goes before me in what I'm doing, I'm not interested in it. Unless I know that I have his blessing, unless I know that I see his hand in it, I'm not doing it. Because to be in his presence is that to be in his presence of what I do, and I don't mean to make it sound hyper Christian, but the truth is, like, when you know and you are confident in what he has called you to, you can do that with a boldness and a courage that because you have that blessing. I don't know how else to describe it.
Oh, I get it. You got a blessing. You can't lose.
You can't lose. And it gives you this ability to say, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. So I'd actually gotten approached about running in the fall in November when there was nobody running at the time. And I said, hey, I appreciate you. There were several people that had asked me, I appreciate you considering me. I'll pray about it and I'll let you know. And I prayed about it. And the answer was no. So I let them know. No, sorry. Because again, like I said, I'm not going. I mean, there's so many examples of this in the Bible, but if God has not gone before me in the battle, I'm not interested. I don't, whatever is ahead of me, I'm not interested in going unless I know he's gone before me in it. And I'm sure people have, well, how do you know that? We could get into the discussion part of that, but
that's a different podcast.
What changed for me was, when it came to it, honestly, I'd completely forgotten about running. I'd just truly kind of laid that out there and was like, okay, Lord, like, if you want me to do this, I need you to make it abundantly clear. And then the phone started ringing. And when the phone started ringing, it didn't ring once or twice or 4 times. It just kept on ringing from people that asked. I mean, it was wild. People saying, will you please consider running for this position? We know you. We've watched you. We've seen you in your life. We've seen what you've done. We want you to represent us. And I didn't just take that as a sign. I took it as the confirmation of, okay, it's time to do it. It's time to run. So I did. And a lot of people were shocked by it. They're like, what? What are you doing? To me, it was no shock. But I think the best part about all of that is if I had done this in November, the Lord knows, he knows me and he knows what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. If we had run this race in November, I would have done everything in my power to make things happen. And I would have made this be something about me. But Lord never shows up on your timeline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was not a shock to me when the answer was, okay, it's time to run. I'm like, 2 months until the election. You want to do this? Okay, let's go. So it's all in his hands. I have no worries, no fears, anything about it. Again, it's just, for me, the victory is being able to spread that joy and the love. And not only that, but to let people know we can do great things for Enid. But we have to be intentional about it. We have to have a plan. And that's what my experience brings.
Wow. Yeah, I've had a similar incident, a little different, but like I know what you mean by, he's telling you,
yeah.
and and it's not like an audible thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just you.
Yeah.
So for me, it was when I resigned from being a pastor, like I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Literally, I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. I can't handle church politics. I can't handle it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
And then people started showing up at my house and saying, well, can we at least have a small group with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, all right, okay, whatever. That small group goes from 3 to 5 to 10 to 20.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, we got to get a building. Then we get a building. And then I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not going to do this. And I'm even like saying to the Lord, I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not going to do it. And then someone calls and says, I got you $20,000 to get you a building. And then someone else calls and says, I got $5,000 to get you a building. And I'm sitting there going, all right, Lord, I guess I just can't say no, you know, like, and certainly with the music too, because, you know, I see the music and I'm getting all these like great things happening through the music. But then at the end of the day, I got to look in the mirror and go, what did God make me for?
Yeah.
Did he make me to be some touring country guy, or did he make me to be a pastor?
Listen, man, I have, not to cut you off, sorry.
Yeah.
We can come back to this later. I struggled with that for so many years. You can look, as I look at what I've had the opportunity to do, you can say, oh, well, clearly you're a pilot. Why don't you fly with airlines? That's not what I had peace about. Well, okay, you have a company that focuses on emerging aerospace. Why don't you do that? That's not, it's something I do. It is not who I am. And that's one of the things I struggled the most with is, man, what is it? What is the thing that I'm supposed to be doing? And admittedly, I'm not saying being a politician is it. It may be an aspect of what we do, but that doesn't define who you are. You know what I mean? It's that relationship that you have that drives you forward, that helps to be able to define who you are of what am I doing? But it was a struggle. I mean, there was a lot of, God, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Like, what is it?
And it's not this. And he's like, yeah, it is. No, it's not. Retry again. Try again.
Yeah, let's reset that real quick.
You don't know how many times I've made deals with God. I'm like, all right, God, you got to make it blatantly clear.
Yeah.
And then he does. And I'm like, you got to make it clearer. Like, and then you got to make it clear. Like, and I know what he's doing. He's sitting up there going, this is one of my most stubborn children.
Yeah.
But he loves me anyway.
Yeah.
So like, wow.
You know, something that you said, how do you know? For me, it's as we're talking, it talks about the peace that surpasses all understanding. It's that how you know that you're in the place that you should be, and how you know you're doing what you should be doing is, even in the midst of what could be chaos, you have a peace beyond being able to explain it. It's like this confidence, this assurance. Hey, this is it. For me, that piece is what allows me to know, okay, this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. The truth is, I don't know what the end state of it is. I don't know how things will turn out. I don't know, but that's not my responsibility. My responsibility is run the race that the Lord has set before me and leave the results to him and do the best we can, so that at the end of the day, people know that man's about Jesus more than he's about anything else. That's what matters to me. When my life is said and done, I do not want anybody to say he was a great politician. I don't want anybody to say he was a great military man. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is people can look at me and say, he loved Jesus so much that you saw it in everything he did. Mm-hmm. Because in 2 generations, nobody's going to remember me.
Right.
My kids will. My grandkids will probably. My great-grandkids, maybe. Great-great-greats? No, they're not gonna know anything about me. But if you establish a heritage that becomes a family heritage where you know this is what your name means, and this is who you are, and this is what we do as Jordans, that changes everything. We have 3 rules in the Jordan household that my kids live by. If they were here, I'd ask them, but it's love, lead, protect. Those are the 3 rules. If any one of those 3 things are violated, then there's got to be correction that's brought. But loving is love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. Yeah. We have to. And not only was that the greatest commandment, but why would you want to live in a world that's not the priority?
Well, that covers a multitude of sins.
I know.
It literally does. Just loving people.
Right. And showing that. So, and then next is love, leading, the intentionality of you. this is what I try to teach my sons and daughters. You're not just my son and not just my daughter. Someday you will have your own children and you will have a son. And the man I'm raising you to be now is the man that will be able to lead your children. And the daughter that I'm raising now is so that you can be a wife to lead your family. And if you can't lead yourself now, how will you ever be able to help lead a spouse? And how will you ever be able to lead a family? And how will you ever be able to lead a company? How will you be able to lead your peers and your neighbors and your friends? And it all comes back to this personal responsibility, which is, I guess that's another reason, one of the reasons why people say, why are you running? Is because I have a personal responsibility to. I can't see a problem and walk past it. That would be antithetical to who I am. I can't do that. The best way I can describe it is, we have a 1.5-year-old little baby. My party in pigtails, as I call her. She's like a family mascot at this point. We all just kind of like watch her because my kids are 12 and 8 and they're older. And then we have our 1.5-year-old. But you got diapers that you change in the middle of the night or whatnot, and they get set right outside the door. So when I leave for work in the morning, this is something the Lord's really been working on me with. As I open the door and I take a step back and I see the diaper sitting there, and you have this moment in your mind where you're like, I could walk past this diaper and not put it in the trash can outside. But as the father of the house, it's like, I can't walk past this diaper. Like I have to. And I know it seems like a silly thing, but
no,
it's this reality.
In your mind, you're like, I'm giving them permission that this is to do the same thing because I'm not being a good leader.
Yeah. You have to set the example. And that's, for me, it's this moment of nobody else will see me walk past the diaper. Nobody else will see me walk past the trash, but I will, and I'll know it. Mm-hmm. And that's not what I want to live with. Right. And that's why running, you have to be able to lead yourself in such a way that you're not measured against somebody else's standards. You're measured against a standard that you firmly believe in, that you're willing to live to. Yeah. And the last one is protect, is the Jordan reminder, the Jordan 3, is protect, love, lead, protect, is that you have to be willing to, when you have a conviction of who you are and you know the guidelines of which you live by, to love God and to love your neighbor, and you know that you have a responsibility to lead, that means that sometimes you have to be willing to step into a role to protect what is yours and to protect what is ours as a community, and to be able to protect the God-given rights that we've established as this country. And that's, in my mind, when the opportunity came up to run, it was far less about what people asked me to do and far more about what legacy will I leave for my kids. Because if I'm asked to do this, I'm not going to hand them problems that I wasn't willing to try to fix.
Well, and you're not going to vote something that they can look on your record later.
No, you're right. This is what's so funny to me. There's been several interviews or conversations I've had where lobbyists, not that I'm not talking about lobbyists. Lobbyists, frankly, will probably hate me, to be honest. But if people say, yeah, your voting record, whatever it is, and I'm like, well, people have asked, what do you think your voting record is going to be? And I just kind of have to laugh at the question, because I'm like, look at my life. My life is a voting record inside itself. If there is anything within my life that I have lived that is not what you want, don't vote for me.
Right.
If you see something in my life that you don't like, or if there's the fruit of my life that is contrary to what somebody agreed to, then don't vote. But what they're going to find is that's not the case. That's by no means am I perfect. Definitely not. But our voting record isn't what just happens in the state capitol. It's what happens when no one's looking. That's the real record. That's real accountability for me. And and those three things, that's what excites me the most. The opportunity is to be able to share with people that, because I know there's a lot of people that are frustrated and a lot of people that want to see change. And those people have voices.
We're talking about change. Okay, here we're talking about change. What is 3 things that you think need to be focused on? And it's the only political part will be this.
Okay.
And what's one thing you think Oklahoma does good already?
Okay, great. 3. Let's start with the good. I always like the good. Mm-hmm. I think what Oklahoma has going for it is we are one of the most desirable locations in the United States, I believe. Now, of course, people like to move to Florida and everywhere else, but there's a reason why there's a mass exodus from the West Coast to the Midwest to Oklahoma. There's a reason why we are seeing a ton of transplants from the West Coast, bringing their investments and bringing things here to Oklahoma. Why? Because they love what they got. They love what we got. I've heard it said several times before, the Oklahoma standard. If you try to drive by Gray Ridge right now, you're going to see somewhere that is completely cleared of all debris, minus it being totally cleared. It would be hard telling that it wasn't a development as opposed to somewhere that just had a tornado go through a couple weeks ago. Why? It's because you had a community come together and help each other in a way that is like hard for people to even believe. You have people from Missouri and other places around Oklahoma come here to help, bringing their equipment, paying their own bills, filling up with their own gas, spending their time just to be able to help people. What Oklahoma has that's incredible, truly, is the values that we have, the belief in the family that we have, and we got to protect it. So making the transition from what's great about Oklahoma, our lifestyle, who we are. Not saying we're perfect, but man, we are the last frontier to have a place that is full of faith and family, and you can see it on the corners of our town. Things we need to work on. First, in my mind, of what I will do, if people vote for me, this is what's going to happen. We have to start economically growing. Right now, we've been stagnated. We've been stagnated as a city. We've been stagnated as a region. There are other communities that are our size that are growing at a faster rate than we are. We need to grow. Now, I know there's a lot of people that can say, well, you don't like change, but let me just put it in this sense. If you don't like seeing your property taxes and appraisals go up every year, then we need to grow industry-wise to bring additional people in to diversify that cost, right? We want to grow as a community because we want to have a thriving community, not a dying community. And the truth is, if you're not growing,
you're dying.
You're dying.
Yeah, you're just dying slowly.
You're dying slowly. And you can convince yourself you're not dying, but the truth is, you're still dying. So for me, we need to economically grow, and we have to be intentional about it. Within the first 6 months, what I'm doing is putting together is an economic committee with academics from universities, with even state commerce department individuals to say, we need to stop and this is specifically for Enid. I'm not talking about Oklahoma. My concern as a representative for Enid is Enid.
Yeah.
It's Enid. So
yes, that's what it should be. Not Oklahoma.
It's not just Oklahoma.
You're being voted for this position here.
It is Enid. We have to grow Enid. And because of the relationships I have with people, I can pull those experts to be able together to say, I need to know definitively what is the industry we need to focus on that is nationally growing, not just growing in Oklahoma, but nationally growing. Because how we will have growth as a community is to be solving a problem that exists at the national scale. You know why? Is because if there's national funding and there's emphasis being put on making sure those industries are growing, and we bring a solution to that, guess where that investment goes? It goes to us. So we have to grow economically. And we're going to hit it hard. On June 17th, if I'm elected, within 6 months, there will be an economic committee that is formed that is not only working with academia and working with the state, but I've already started the coordination for it because we have to get intentional about our growth. Second, we cannot keep doing the same thing we've been doing in education. We have to. In the last 12 years, we've gone from 48th to 50th. We have classes in public schools and in private, right now in public schools, as I've spoken to many public school teachers. And I want to clarify this. My concern for education is shared with everybody's concern for where education is. I'm not against public school. We have to have a thriving public school system. We have to. It's a must. Any growing, expanding community has a strong public school. My dad was a school board president. He went through having to oversee consolidations of school districts. It's incredibly hard. But we have to do something differently because what we've been doing isn't working. When we have 8th graders that are reading at a 4th grade level, that's not working.
Why are we passing?
That's the question. Why are we passing students? Why are teachers telling me stories that they've gone back into their grade books and have grades changed from a 0 to a minimum of a 50%? That makes no sense. That is a socialist mentality, and that has no place here. If we continue having these mentalities of just passing our kids along, what we're doing is creating a generation that is not going to know how to succeed in society. Those people will be the leaders of our future businesses. Those students will be the leaders of our future community. We're doing them a disservice. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't believe anybody is doing it maliciously. But you know who has a great way of doing it and a great ideas of how to be able to solve it? The teachers.
Yeah.
The veteran teachers who are leaving education because they're frustrated with what they're seeing. So what I've already started doing and putting in place is rallying 15 plus teachers from private education, from public education, to be able to say, if you had to rebuild the system right now, what needs to be done? What would be meaningful that we could put in that we could implement immediately in the next 4 months, in the next 8 months, in the next 12 months? What are the things that right now, if you said we need to fix this, if you were the queen or king for a day, what are the things? And as that list is being curated now, and I'm getting that input from people, as your representative, it's my job to ask the hard questions and to start bringing people to the table. And again, it's not because I don't think people are being malicious. That's not the case at all. But we cannot continue saying, well, let's see what the state legislator does. It's like walking past the trash on the ground. We have a responsibility here. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're going to bring legislation to be able to help at the state level, but we have a problem here in our schools, in our children's education. That has to be the focus. That has to be our priority.
How do you fix it? I mean, that's you have to do something. You have to have a strategy.
We have to do something.
You have to have a plan.
Yes.
You can't not have a plan.
No.
You have to have one, and you do.
Yeah.
That's great.
And the third one, if I can say this, is there is a gate there. One of the challenges that I've heard several times from teachers is it's not just academically, but it's also character wise of, there's a lot of kids that don't necessarily have a great family structure. There's a lot of kids that are raising their siblings. There are a lot of immediate needs that are happening in families where kids aren't having the food that they need, or they don't have the clothing that they need, or maybe they don't even have the oversight. I've heard stories within our own community that 12-year-olds here in our region were mowing lawns during the summer to help pay electric bills. That's not the type of that's not the type of childhood that I had. So when I hear stories of kids working to be able to support their family, although incredible work ethic, my question also comes to, what can we do to better help as a community to meet these needs, but also to be able to help grow, raise our children as a community, as a village. And one of the things that is an absolute must, I will have been an utter failure as a representative if I did not make this happen within the first 2 years. We have to have a thriving, I don't want to say Boys and Girls Club, but an after-school youth program that focuses on character development. Mm-hmm. This must happen. And it's not saying that other programs aren't focusing on that, but I'm saying we as a community, if we truly care, not only do we have to take care of the educational part, but we have to also talk about the character growth and the morality and the growth of our children, and helping them to be productive, fruitful members of society. And if they don't have a structure that supports that, we need to be able to make sure that this community is a place where families want to come because they see growth and goodness for the family. Okay.
I had an idea. I had an idea about this a long time ago. Remove homeroom class that you have for all the way through junior high, at least I did. Mm-hmm. Remove your homeroom class and replace it with character and etiquette class.
Yes, please.
Because if you have an etiquette class, at least kids will know flipping off your teacher is not a good thing. Flipping off
teacher, kicking over desks, throwing books across. I mean, what? Continue.
Yeah, that's just I was just because you have homeroom, which is basically nothing. Mm-hmm. They sit around and do work all day. And I'll be real, my son, he came from OBA and he just moved over to Enid Public School, and it's like night and day. Mm-hmm. When it comes to how strenuous it is. Mm-hmm. He's like, dude, homeroom's just hang out, get your homework done. Yeah. And man, you could just remove that completely and say, this is going to be a 20, 30 minutes of learning something, a new way of about your character and etiquette, and you have to live it out through the day of school to get a grade.
Yeah.
And other teachers and other classrooms will say, hey, today are you living out this? Yeah. And if you're not, well, then you're going to fail that class, and you have to pass it.
Yeah. I think one of the pieces you hit on is holding the next generation to a standard. Mm. There's a mentality that everybody wins. Everybody doesn't win. Life can be hard. You and I have walked through so many things in our life where it felt like we are losing miserably. Mm-hmm. And I thank God that I was raised with an expectation of, hey, you can win and you can lose. There are winners and winners and losers. And if you do not challenge yourself in a place that grows you and hones your skills and hones your character and challenges you to grow, then you're not going to have the tools required to succeed in life.
There's a reason. I don't know. This might be on PC. I don't know, but there's a reason why there's a lot of poverty and homelessness now, and I believe it's because the character of people. It's not that they're bad people. It's not they make poor choices. It's that they've never been taught that you can get knocked out and get back up. Like when they feel the punch of getting knocked out and losing, it's like they give up. And you got social media telling you stink at everything. Right. And then you see all these pretty people that you're trying to be like, and then you don't realize that's not even a real reality. Yeah. And then the truth is, in real life, some of the greatest achievements you'll ever make is by being knocked out. Yeah. Get knocked down and then say, okay, what did I do wrong? Yeah. And then you fix it, and then your life is so much better.
The challenge with that is I've been blessed to have mentors and friends enough in my life to be like, when I get knocked down and I'm wallowing in my own self-pity and self-doubt and frustration and angst,
drag you out of it.
They come over and be like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Pick yourself up. You're better than this. You can do it. Dust yourself off, get back up, get back in the game. Like, you got to do it. But to your point, I truly, like what we're seeing right now, I've heard it said several times, there's a mental health crisis. I mean, if you talk to counselors or Christian counselors or psychologists, they're booked. I mean, they're consistently booked. This came from COVID, a lot of people being separated out, and a lot of people not having that community aspect of it. But I totally agree with you. There is an aspect that we are looking for the friendship and the discipleship in all the wrong places. And where we need to get back to it is, there is so much good that our local churches can do, but I firmly believe that the church has been ostracized and excommunicated from where its place is in the community, because there are a lot of needs in the community that need to be solved and helped by the local church. And that's another aspect of, you may love me or hate me, but the truth is this isn't going to change. I firmly believe there's so much we can do to activate the churches within Enid, Oklahoma, to be able to meet the needs that we have, not only in schools, but also in communities and in families, because the churches want to help.
Well, but no, I'm going to be a little bit pushed back here, but not too hard. Like, the whole reason churches got nonprofit status to begin with is so that we could help people in need and do those things. Yeah. But slowly, over the past 50 years, the churches have become more like cruise ships. Like, they've been like, let's just keep building onto our buildings and see how many people we can get, and numbers. And they're not actually utilizing it as the nonprofit that it should. Now, if you did, that's why we don't need government handouts. It should come from the church.
Yeah. See, that's a great point.
That's where it should come from. Yeah. But for some reason, a lot of churches don't do that. They hold and they hoard and hoard. They're always worried about next month or if they're going to be through. And I'm like, dude, God will take care of it. Yeah. Expend your budget every month. Help people and see how they respond. And I guarantee you, your door will be full. Like, it will be full. And not only that, you can help them seek disciple. You can show them another way. Because I think a lot of people, they want out. Yeah. They just don't know how. Yeah. And I don't think they're bad or uneducated. They just don't know. Yeah. Like, because it's like me walking into a kitchen and my wife sliding a cheesecake over and said, make this. That looks really good, and I would like to make that every day for myself, but I have no earthly idea how to do it. Someone's going to have to show me. Well, that's what the church is for. Right. Like, we can show you how to do that. Right. But it's my frustration with organized church. This is why I kind of do my own thing. Right. My frustration's always been, it's church first, then people second. And I'm just like, no, it should be about the people first. And stop looking at the church as a hierarchy. Like these pastors, they're sinners too, people. Like, they're not better than you. Yeah. All right. They're here to lead you and to show you a way that's different. Yeah. Don't worship them. Stop the worship of Donald Trump. Stop the worship of pastors. Start worshiping the Lord. Yeah. And when you show them that, their whole life can change. Yeah. But we don't. But as a church, we've now depended on the government. Okay, I was at a church once. I'm not going to say where, but the church was like, when they come in, we have plenty of money to help them, but let's first send them to these agencies, government agencies, to help have them clothe them. And here's a food resource, and here's this resource. Go there. We'll point you there because we got to save our budget.
Right.
And I'm like, no. The reason we have a nonprofit is so that we can help these people.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole point in the government giving it to us.
Yeah.
And there should,
a stellar point.
yeah. And we've kind of faded away from that. Now, there is a place for the organized church that we see today. And I have no problem with big churches, because some people think I'm like ripping. Dude, big churches do a lot of big things for communities.
Yeah.
Like I remember COVID, what Emmanuel did was incredible. Like the amount of food they were giving out to the Marshallese and all. And I know World Harvest done some big things for people. So it's like, I'm not saying that's bad, but when you start looking at the church as a whole, like as a worldwide church, it doesn't look like that. It looks like a lecture hall, and not a place of family, and bringing people in and not judging people where they are. That's one thing that's hard. I learned as a pastor. There are people out there who really have needs, but they don't want to say it because they feel like they're going to be judged. They're like, well, they're going to say I'm a bad Christian because I didn't handle my money well. Not at all, dude. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars stolen from me before. I was in a wrecked spot. It had nothing to do with my Christianity.
Right.
Like,
I could not agree with you more that I believe what the church Big C should be doing is enabling and helping people to live the best life that they possibly can, and in every aspect of their life, not only in their body, in their business, in their banking, in finances, whether brain, their mental state. Like we should be helping people. Should leave the church in a better place than they were found, and be given the tools to grow and lead a family in a better way, of almost just like life education. And this is why I say go back to, I think there's a lot that the local church can do to be able to help meet needs here in Enid, Oklahoma. And it's not, for anybody who's listening, for all that are listening, we don't want people to be misconstrued as saying the local church here in Enid isn't doing a good job. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, even when you reach a level of doing great work, the old question comes, okay, what is the vision for the future? Where do we need to be going from here? Yes, there's been a lot of help, but what do we need to do now? And where do we need to go from here? And the other thing I love that you mentioned about this is, man, when was the last time, how often can people have an open, honest discussion and agree and disagree? And I'm not even saying we disagree, but this has been lost, this ability to just have discussion and talk about things. I think this is what the old timers, what they used to do at the coffee shops, but now
disagreement brings ideas.
I know.
That's you want people to disagree with you, because then you rethink your position, and then you go, man, that gives me an idea. But when you just stonewall people, you're never gonna get anywhere. Like I have some really good. I mean, come on, one of my really good friends is Martin Sheen. Okay, he is about as left wing as you can get. But you can put me and him in a room together, and we can talk about Jesus, sing hymns together. We can eat together. And I can laugh at him when he's making fun of Trump, and he can laugh at me when I'm making fun of Barack. And it's totally fine. And when I say making fun of, we're not really like making fun. I'm just poking fun. I think this is a better word. Poking fun at each other. But it's like we live in a time now that if you're not on my team, I hate you. Like, I literally hate you if you're not. Here's how much they hate you. Okay, so the Enid tornado happened, right? And I make a post. All right, first off, this person who's commented doesn't even know what I'd already done for the tornado people. Like, I'd already done so much. But so I go and I post online. I post a picture of me standing on a stage, like holding my finger up. And actually, in that picture, as I'm holding, I'm pointing to God, because if you were at the concert, you knew what I was talking about. And it said, Enid, you are in our hearts, is what I wrote. And the lyric from the Enid song was, when storms roll in, we stand there steady. And that's what I had playing. This guy gets on there. You're such a blah, blah, blah. I can't believe you're promoting your music in a time like this, blah, 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 blah. You know, and I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, he has no idea at all what I have already done. And he's automatically trying to find a hole to destroy me and to be angry and hate on me because we have differing views. And that was the only reason I could come up with, is because I was like, we must have differing views for him to go that venom.
I had a mentor one time that said there was just a situation that was going on, and I was like, I don't understand what is happening. Why is this person so angry? He said, well, because hurting people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
That's. I mean, and the more that I thought about that, and the more that I see that in life, and I don't take things personally. In this, there's been things said, and you just have to laugh it off, because you realize, yeah, hurting people hurt people. Really, my baseline to get back to is, how do you help them not hurt? How do you help to be able to solve the challenges, the heartache or heartbreak that people are going through? And how do you live life in such a way that it is always an example of hope for them? And that helps to cage any conversation or any of those moments or experiences where it's like, what did I do besides wake up today that made this person so mad? What, like, is it just the fact that I'm alive? Is that why you're mad at me right now?
What I've also learned a lot too is when people hate you a lot, it's normally because they believe something that's just not true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like they've heard something and they believe it's just,
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, and this is where the church, like the people, not the organization, the people frustrate me.
Yeah.
Because when you know someone's a part of the church,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear people saying stuff about that person, why not go to them?
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Like, why not just go to
I
them
know.
instead of holding it against them and then going behind their backs? I mean, this is stuff I've witnessed as leading a church. I'm like, dude, why did you come to me? Why didn't you just go to them?
Yeah.
Like, why are you telling me all this? Just go straight to them. Because I can tell you right now, you've got an illusion that's not even real, and you're putting... You're projecting your sin on that person and going out.
It's like we've lost, in many ways, it's like we've lost the ability to address situations ourselves. You have to handle it. One of the things I tell my kids all the time is, my son will come in, he's younger, he's 9. My daughter's 12, and he'll come in and be like, Hadley's doing this. I said, okay, well, let me know when you have it handled.
There you go.
I'm like, well, but she won't give me the ball or whatever it is. I said, okay, well, how are you going to fix this? What are you going to do? How are you going to handle it? I was like, well, I came to tell you. I was like, but I can't solve your problems for life, bud. What? So how are you going to handle it? You've got to get it solidified somehow, and then he'll walk back. And it's funny because my wife will look over and be like, did you just pawn that off to him? And be like, no, like, it's a real thing. Today it's his sister. Tomorrow it's an issue at class. The next day it's a problem at the job. The next day it's a decision that he has to make as a leader. Like, we have to look at developmentally, how do we help people to be able to grow in those phases of life? But man, there's so many areas that we've lost that ability to have discourse and discussion and disagreement, but still love the person on the other side. You know what I mean? It's and that's going to be critical for us to move forward as a community and continue growing. It's going to be critical that we have that ability to have those discussions instead of just building a wall and saying, you don't agree with me, I'm not going to work with you. What? It's like,
It is. It reminds me of a kid. Like, I'm taking my toys and
I
going
know,
home. Like, I'm taking my toys.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end with a little fun. Hey,
I love it
because you've shared a lot about who you are. This is the question that is going to make or break your campaign for me. Cowboys or Sooners?
Oh man, can I? Oh
like
no!
Yeah,
no! That's
you don't
terrible.
Have to answer. You don't have to answer.
That's terrible. I'm gonna go with my alma mater, the Fighting Falcons of the Air Force Academy. But my team has always been Air Force Academy in Kansas State. Don't hate me for Kansas State.
That's probably the best answer. See, I graduated from Oklahoma State,
Yeah,
so like I was like showing this to you at the beginning just to make sure that you say Cowboys, but I also know if you say Sooners, you just cut half of your voter base away.
I know. I'm sure told I go to both games differently. When I get an invite, I go to both games. I think because I was, truth be told, I was always a Kansas State fan because we were farmers and agriculture, and that's just who we were. Grew up on a farm, and in Kansas State, which is very close to Oklahoma State, like they are the agriculture school. That's what you focus on. So if I was more closely aligned, it'd be, I think the Cowboys are pretty close to my Power Cats.
There you go.
That's the time.
What about favorite movie?
Top Gun. Hands down.
Top Gun. Did you like the new Maverick?
Oh my gosh, dude. It was the great. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
We should have started with that.
Yeah.
That is the greatest second movie in the history of second movies. It was so good. It was so incredibly good.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was better than the first. Yeah.
too. But I think
Kind of like
it made
Empire
it.
Strikes is better than the first Star Wars.
See, I never got into it.
Okay.
I was always in. I take your word for it.
No.
Wait a minute. Okay. You've never seen Star Wars?
I have seen Star Wars. I have seen Star Wars.
You're like my wife.
I've seen Star Wars in the format and fashion that it's always been broken up by. I've never been able to finish all the parts all the way through. So I know enough to truly be dangerous and insulting to somebody who loves Star Wars. Because I'll be like, oh yeah, that was Obi-Wan, right? And people are like, no, what are you talking about? At least I don't confuse it with Star Trek, though.
Yeah.
So my wife, she never watches. Like I remember when we first started dating, I was like, I want you to watch Star Wars. Just watch one. You'll get into it. You know how at the beginning the words go?
Yeah.
By the time the words were done, she was asleep. And I looked over and I was like, she's already asleep. We haven't even got to the first scene. Well, it's been like that for like years. And then so the new movie's coming out like in a week or so. And I was like, I want to go see this movie. And you need to be caught up. So we're going to watch just at least this Mandalorian TV show that's on Disney. You don't have to know anything about Star Wars to watch this. And the little baby Yoda caught her heart.
Yeah.
And I'm like, got her.
That's
I've
it.
got her.
That
I'm
was
like,
it.
yes, I've got her now.
Baby Yoda. She's on.
So that's awesome. All right, so Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, Top Gun, hands down. It made me who I am. Loved it.
Favorite musician all time.
Outside of you?
Oh, that you can't.
There you go. All right,
That's
okay.
just wrong.
Brad Paisley, man.
Oh yeah.
Mud on the tires. Mud on the tires. Ticks. Two of my. I think it was Ticks, right? That's the name of it. It was Mud on the Tires was one, and then going back to your '63 song. Those were songs, man, that blasted in my truck, driving down the road, going fishing, looking at stars, hanging out in the pastures, like
the country music.
Yeah,
the
dude, that was it. That was it.
Country music creates memories.
Yeah,
It does.
Yeah.
What is the last show that you binge watched?
Oh, Ted Lasso.
Really, I haven't even seen that.
Oh my gosh!
I know. I'll watch it.
What?
I haven't seen it. I know.
What?
I've had multiple.
You're
people.
listening to a guy's podcast who has not watched Ted Lasso. Reconsider your life right now.
I'm serious.
You got
I've
to.
had like 10 people be like, "You've not watched it?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't."
Ted Lasso is one of the greats of our times. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
One of
promise you I'll do it.
the
I'll
best
do it.
quotes that ties into everything we've talked about is he says, "Be curious. Always be curious." Now, if you know the quote, but man, there's just so many incredible things of just lessons where it's humorous, but then you go back and watch it and it's like, oh, that was like crazy deep. That was like a super deep show, even though it's all comedy. It's great.
That's awesome.
I will watch it. I promise.
Give it 3 episodes to get into it.
If your campaign had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Okay, you totally caught me off guard on that. Let me think. How about oh man, that is a good question. Theme song. How about there's a couple that I could come to mind. I think, man, is there a country song that has to do with logic, like common sense?
Judas.
Judas. Okay, common sense.
Yeah,
Okay. Probably say I don't know. We Will Rock You. I don't know.
Oh, see, if you'd have said 63 Chevy, I'd have been like, I'll bring the whole band down
to
play when you win.
Well, I was thinking,
You know what?
wait, okay, all right. That's true. Theme song. Okay, so 63 Chevy would be, truth be told, one of the things I really love about the song is not only does it take you back, but it takes you back to a memory of when things were much more simple. You know, as we grew up, life was pretty simple. It was really pretty straightforward. And that really does, I mean, honestly, that really does live true to our campaign, because the truth is we're about common sense, man. Like, if you have to explain away why something is happening, what? You know, let's just get back to the basics of logical, like we were talking about. Let's not pass students that aren't passing.
Yeah.
because it only hurts them. So I'd say common sense. 63 Chevy. There it is. There it is. Yes, sir. Love it.
All right. If we left today, don't forget about politics. Forget about everything. What do you want people to remember about Kinsley Jordan today?
I love Jesus. I love him with all my heart and everything I do in my life. If you don't know him and you've been hurt by church, I'm telling you, that's religion. Religion hurts. Religion put Jesus on the cross. Relationship is what brought him back to life for you and me. He's not concerned about how many things you've done right or how many things you've done wrong. He's concerned about you because he's the son of the one who made you. That's all I want people to know.
I never do this, but I'm going to do it today. I'm going to allow this to happen. Would you want to close the podcast in prayer?
Oh my gosh, I'd love to. Yes, that would be great. I'd love to. Father, thank you so much. Not only for the friend that friendship that has been forged here, but God, thank you so much for each and every one of the listeners on this podcast. Lord, you know exactly where they're at. You know exactly what they're going through. You've seen the highs of their life and you've seen the lows of their life. Father, and you know exactly what their concern is right now in their life. So, Lord, because I know how much you love them right now. My prayer for each and every listener to this would be that they experience the love and the joy and the peace, patience and kindness and goodness of you in their life. Lord, if they've been lost or if they've been frustrated or if they've been hurt in church, Lord, I just thank you that you are giving them an opportunity to see your love for them in a new way this week. Whether that brings them back to church or whether that brings them into a relationship that will restore their faith in Christ. Father, you are the healer, you are the redeemer, and you make all things new. So, Lord, I just thank you so much for every person that's listening here. And I believe, Lord, that you are showing up in their liff in a major, major way. Lord, and I just thank you so much for the blessing upon this podcast and upon this mighty man of God and what he's doing to be able to spread your good word and your good news and continue being faithful to that message of grace that you have for us. In Jesus' mighty name, the name above every name, we pray. Amen.